Hello, I'm Mr. Russell. I'm here to tell you, primarily why I studied A-level physics and why it might be something you want to consider. And I want to start with three quotes. Quote number one, poets say that physics takes away from the beauty of the stars, globs of gas atoms. I too can see the stars on a desert night, but do I see less or more? Quote number two, Isaac Newton. If I've seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants. Very famous quote, obviously very famous physicist. And quote number three, I appreciate this one is a fictional character, but if you're considering A-level physics, I think it's a fair bet you probably watched The Big Bang Theory. Leonard Hofstadter. I'm an experimental physicist, you know, one of those guys who examines the building blocks of creation and says, hello, maker of the universe. I see what you did there. Good one. Now, the theme throughout all of these, and the reason I studied physics, is because physics is about seeing more. Some people might look at the stars and think of them in a poetic way and be able to describe how they twinkle, and they might describe the poetic beauty of them, and indeed I agree with that. But I also see that the history behind that star, I see how it formed, I see its importance in the entire universe, and indeed I see the importance of how that star came to give birth to everything else in the universe, and that is no exaggeration. Without stars, we would not be here. So if GCSE physics teaches you what happens in the world, then A-level physics teaches you why it happens. And it gives you a bit more context, a bit more understanding. It helps you understand why the world is the way it is, why it works the way it is. And then you start to see why things are a little bit weird. Learning physics, for me, is about learning to accept there are more questions than there are answers. And it's not about the answers. Very few physicists will tell you that the answers are the important thing, but the pursuit of those answers is more important. One of my students very recently said that one of the things that they enjoyed about physics was that when they answered one question, they tend to find another 10 pop up. And that's what physics is like. It's a little bit like playing whack-a-mole. There are endless questions, and you learn so much along the way of learning each detail. And for me, that is the essence of physics. It isn't about knowing answers, but asking questions. So you can expect to learn the topics here on this slide. And the good thing about it is that the majority of the content builds directly on your knowledge and experience at GCSE. So for example, your speed, distance, time, if you did triple science, your fission and fusion, fields, gravitational fields, electromagnetic fields, it's all there in A-level. We always start from that point and we go further. And that's the point of it. There are some that will be completely new to you, like particles and radiation. And that one is more a prequel, if you like. So at GCSE, you learn about protons, neutrons, electrons. Particles and radiation teaches you the story before those, the story up until that point. So that's why I think you should study physics. If you like to ask questions and find some answers along the way, but not all.